Marathon testimony. Democratic Congressman Denny Heck of Washington, a member of the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, I know you can't get into the details of what you heard today, but can you describe what the testimony was like?
So I would characterize Dr. Hill in three ways. First of all, in my 7 years of Congress, I would candidly, honestly tell you, Chris, she's the most substantive witness I've observed before any committee, and that's over a course of thousands of hours of testimony. Secondly, I believe the woman has an eidetic memory. If she doesn't have total recall, it's very close to it. And thirdly, I can tell you that in the 10th hour, she had every bit as much energy as she had in the first hour.
It sounds like she had a lot to say if she's still there.
She did have an incredible amount to say. But in fact, I would say about all three witnesses, Chris, that they've added very considerably to our efforts to get to the bottom of this, to the entire truth of how this happened, with the president ending up doing a shakedown and a cover-up of his blatant violation of federal law, asking President Zelensky of Ukraine to interfere in our 2020 presidential elections. Everyone has brought something new and different to the table that has helped bring into even clearer and more stark relief what went on here, and it ain't pretty.
Well, so I'm curious about the trajectory here. You know, we had Kurt Volker who came and testified, but he no longer worked for the State Department. And then Gordon Sondland, who is set to testify this week, was stopped at the last minute, in the middle of the night, the White House says now. And since then, it seems to me like a dam is kind of broken. Marie Yovanovitch, who's still a State Department employee, coming before you. Today, Fiona Hill coming before you. Gordon Sondland now is going to come this week. Others as well. The former number 2 to Mike Pompeo, Mr. McKinley, is going to come. What has happened here? This is striking to me that the White House, as much as it's trying to stop people from talking to you or turn over documents, it looks like you're getting to actually talk to people and learn things.
Yeah, it feels like the dam's breaking, right, Chris? I thought the fact that Mr. McKinley agreed to come before us, I believe it is the day after tomorrow, was very significant. He's a distinguished career diplomat who has an incredible depth of understanding about how diplomacy should work. He's had some of the most significant diplomatic postings within the State Department. And I think we're going to learn a lot from him. But then again, I think we're learning a lot from each and every one.
How would you describe what you're learning? I mean, and also explain to me, why are these being done as closed-door depositions?
Because they're depositions, right? We're conducting this to the highest standards and the best practices of investigations. We're not in the public hearing portion of this yet. We'll get there. But what we don't want is for all of the witnesses, some of whom will be hostile, to coordinate with one another, because that will impede us in our effort to get to the complete truth. And I think that's what the American public wants. Obviously, they're going to want to know all this information at some point, but for the time being, what they want us to do is get to the truth.
And you feel like anything you have heard in this witness testimony has been exculpatory for the president or altered your thinking about this? You're smiling, but I'm asking because you're in there and I'm not.
Right. We keep getting asked the question in 923 different ways, what did she say to you? And of course, again, we can't answer. But I'll reiterate that I think every single person who has come before us has added new information and given new depth to our understanding about what went on here. Chris, I think that there's enough information in the public domain that as one member, I believe it's clear that the president has committed impeachable offenses. But every member is different in how it is that they get to that point and whether or not they get to that point. So we're not yet at the truth. And as we know, on an almost every 48 or 72-hour basis, something new happens or some new information comes forward, some of it in public and some of it during these depositions. And so we're kind of trying to ask the question of ourselves, you know, at what point do you have everything? Because we keep learning more.
Final question. There are some deadlines for document production this week, including, I believe, from the White House itself, which has said they will not cooperate. Do you have a plan in place for what to do if and when they do not turn over those documents?
Well, I think Chairman Schiff has said it well, that if they refuse to turn over the documents, that in and of itself is an act of obstruction to a legitimate Article I congressional impeachment inquiry. And as we know, I think it was the third article of the Nixon impeachment was obstructing Congress's investigation. And secondly, it would be a pretty clear, albeit tacit indication that they are guilty of something, that they're hiding something. Again, this entire story is one of the shakedown and then the cover-up, and that's just part of the cover-up.
All right, Congressman Denny Heck, thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
Joining me now are two people who have been following the president's ongoing scandals from the beginning, Nick Ackerman.